10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great...
Good, roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston, now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate beacon. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on the four main engines of the Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour. Altitude 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
For more than 50 years, we looked at the moon and thought we understood it. Dead, silent, airless, a frozen record of the early solar system. A world that gave up its secrets long ago. Then, on April 6, 2026, 4 human beings flew around it for the first time since 1972. And what they photographed, what they measured, what the instruments detected on the lunar far side, did not match our models. Not slightly, not within error margins. The data came back wrong. And when the scientists in Houston reviewed the numbers in the days that followed, one phrase kept appearing in the mission reports. Inconsistent with current understanding. If this is the kind of question that keeps you up at night, subscribe and hit the like button. We follow the data into the dark every week. Let's start with what Artemis II actually was. On April 1st, 2026, NASA launched 4 astronauts. Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christina Koch, and Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen, on a 10-day journey around the moon. Not to land, not yet. The mission's job was to test the Orion spacecraft to prove the hardware worked, to send humans further from Earth than anyone had traveled since December 1972, when Gene Cernan climbed the last rungs of the Apollo 17 lunar module and humanity left the moon behind. For context, the moon is roughly 239,000 miles from Earth. When Artemis II executed its translunar injection burn on April 2nd and pushed toward that distance, the crew became the first human beings to leave Earth's orbit in over half a century. Half a century. Think about that. Every technological revolution of the last 50 years. The internet, smartphones, the genome project, artificial intelligence. All of it happened while no human being traveled further than low Earth orbit. We forgot how far away the moon actually is. At that distance, a light signal takes 1.3 seconds to travel between the spacecraft and Houston. When the crew executed their outbound trajectory burn, mission controllers were watching data that was already over a second old. And then they reached the lunar far side, the hemisphere no human eye had seen directly since Apollo 17. On April 6, for 7 hours, the Orion spacecraft conducted its historic lunar flyby. The crew photographed the terrain. The instruments measured the radiation environment, the magnetic field anomalies, the thermal signatures of the surface below. Then they came home, and the data came with them. The raw telemetry from Artemis II's sensor array covered radiation shielding performance, navigation, propulsion systems, and crew physiology. But the instruments were also capturing something else. The moon has magnetic anomalies, regions where the crust carries a surprisingly strong remnant field. despite the moon having no global magnetic field today. We've known about these anomalies from orbital surveys. They cluster, strangely, on the far side. They appear to correspond with swirl formations, bright, ghostly patterns in the regolith that don't fit any weathering model we have. No one knows exactly what created them. One leading hypothesis: the impact that formed the giant South Pole Aitken Basin, one of the largest confirmed impact craters in the solar system, measuring 1,600 miles wide and 5 miles deep, may have sent debris traveling through the moon's interior and concentrating magnetic material on the opposite hemisphere. For context, if you placed the South Pole Aitken Basin over the continental United States, it would swallow the entire country with room to spare. And yet, even that explanation doesn't fully account for what Artemis II's instruments recorded. During the flyby on April 6, as the crew moved around the far side and broke contact with Earth for the first time, that silent passage through the radio shadow, the onboard sensors were logging data in isolation. When contact was restored and that data was transmitted back to Houston, the field readings in one anomalous region were significantly stronger than orbital surveys predicted. Not noise, not instrument error. The spacecraft's backup systems confirmed the readings independently. If this holds, and it is early data, let that be said. It means the moon's interior may be retaining remnant magnetism in a configuration more complex than our models have assumed. And that raises a question that nobody expected Artemis II to ask. What happened to the moon? If you find yourself leaning forward right now, hit subscribe. This is what we do here every week. We follow the data into the dark. Let's go deeper. The moon is, on the surface, the most studied world beyond Earth. 12 human beings have walked on it. Over 300 kilograms of lunar rock sit in storage facilities on Earth. Dozens of robotic missions have mapped its surface from orbit. And yet the moon keeps hiding things. In 2009, the Lelcross mission crashed a spent rocket stage into a permanently shadowed crater near the lunar South Pole. The result was stunning. Water, ice, substantial deposits, billions of pounds of frozen water locked in eternal shadow. We had assumed the moon was bone dry. We were wrong. In 2023, India's Chandrayaan-3 mission landed near the South Pole and performed the first in situ measurements at high southern latitudes. Sulfur, iron, titanium. More sulfur than expected, considerably more. The data didn't match the Apollo samples, gathered exclusively in equatorial regions. The South Pole is compositionally different from what we thought we knew. Now add the Artemis II magnetic readings. A picture begins to emerge, not of a dead world that surrendered its mysteries to Apollo, but of a world that has been slowly revealing itself only as we get better at asking questions. The moon is not what we thought it was. The magnetic anomaly data may ultimately be explained by existing models. It may be refined away by further analysis. Science works that way. It is honest. But it may also be a fingerprint of something we don't yet understand. An event in the moon's past, a structure in its interior, a process we haven't named yet. The moon is 4.5 billion years old. It has been sitting 239,000 miles away, watching us for the entirety of human existence. And we are only now beginning to look back. Here is what we don't know. We don't know why the far side of the moon is so different from the near side. The far side's crust is thicker. Its volcanic history is sparser. Its magnetic anomalies are stronger. The two hemispheres of the same world are geologically distinct in ways our current formation models struggle to fully explain. One hypothesis, called the giant impact hypothesis of lunar asymmetry, suggests a smaller companion moon once orbited Earth alongside our own, and the two eventually collided in slow motion, the companion merging into the far side crust. Two moons becoming one. We don't know if that's true. We don't know what created the swirl formations, those bright, sweeping patterns in the regolith that appear to deflect solar wind particles. They may be evidence of impact-induced magnetization. They may be something else entirely. We don't know what's locked in the permanently shadowed craters at the lunar poles, beyond the water ice we've already found. Some of those craters have floors that haven't seen sunlight in billions of years. The temperatures there approach 400 degrees Fahrenheit, conditions cold enough to preserve the most ancient material in the solar system. Molecular archives, frozen records of the early solar system sitting 239,000 miles away, waiting. And now, for the first time since 1972, human beings are going back. Artemis III is already in preparation. The core stage arrived at Kennedy Space Center in late April 2026. The plan calls for 2 astronauts to land near the lunar South Pole, to walk on soil no human foot has touched, in a region we've only begun to understand. What will they find? Tell me in the comments. Does the idea that our closest celestial neighbor is still hiding things make you feel unsettled or excited? I read everyone. But the moon is not the only world in our solar system with secrets buried under its surface. In the next video, we go somewhere else entirely. A world covered in ice. A world where the ocean underneath has been churning for billions of years in complete darkness. Keep looking up. The moon has watched humanity since before language existed. We named it. We worshipped it. We drew calendars by its light. And on April 6, 2026, 4 people flew around it in a pressurized capsule at tens of thousands of miles per hour. And for 7 hours, as they passed through the radio shadow on the far side, they were completely alone with it. No signal, no ground control, no Earth. Just 4 human beings in an ancient world, alone in the dark. Whatever the moon is hiding, we are finally close enough to ask.